Hello everyone, and welcome to the video for Unit 8, Day 15. This is the last lesson that we're going to have in Unit 8 before our Unit 8 test tomorrow. Today we're continuing with inequalities. We're just going to get a little bit more practice so that it solidifies in our brain. And today's video is dedicated to Jessica in 6B. Hi Jessica. Okay. So there are 4 different types of inequalities symbols. The first symbol is this right here. If we're comparing a variable x, so some number, and 3. And what this means is x is greater than 3. And the way that we will draw this is we're going to put an open circle. This is very important, an open circle at 3. And then if it's greater than 3, it's everything to the right of 3. Just like that. So open circle and then pointing to the right. And in real life situations, what might give us a hint if it's x is greater than 3 is if we see things like more than 3. That's the same thing as x is greater than 3. Or you might just see greater than 3. And possible values for x, if x is greater than 3, I want you to write 3 and then cross it out. Because x cannot equal 3. It has to be greater than 3, but it can be 4, it can be 8, it can be 149, or like 3.4. Those are all possible examples. Okay, moving on. The other symbol is similar to x is greater than 3, but this time it's this with a line underneath it, just like that. Right? And that means that x is greater than or equal to 3. So x is greater than or equal to 3. And for this one, and then pay close attention to this part, instead of an open circle, you're going to do a closed circle for 3. So you're going to fill in the circle, and it's all the possible values to the right of 3, including 3. And some key terms that we can look out for if we want x is greater than 3, that's the same thing as at least 3. So at least 3, or a minimum of 3, or you might see it as 3 or more, or as not less than 3. Those are all the same thing as saying x is greater than or equal to 3. And our possible values, it could be 3, because it's greater than or equal to 3. And it could also be 4, or 8, or 276, or 3 1/2. All those are values that are greater than or equal to 3. All right. 2 down, 2 more to go. Next. Now we're going to talk about if it's pointing the other way, like this. And when the arrow's pointing this way, this means that x is less than 3. So x is less than 3. And what we're going to do for this one And a quick tip, I know that some of you know the alligator strategy, right? The alligator is always eating the bigger number. It's bigger, it opens up towards the greater number. That's one way that you can remember it. So x is less than 3. We're going to have 3 here. We do an open circle. Very important, open circle. Because it doesn't include 3. X cannot be 3. It has to be less than 3. And we're going to draw our arrow pointing this way. So it's all the possible values less than 3. And key terms that we want to look out for, right? Less than 3. Less than 3. Or fewer than 3. Could be like that too. Possible values, I want you to write 3 and then cross it out. Because x cannot be 3. It has to be less than 3. But it can be 2, it can be 0, it can be -4, or it could be 0.76, for example. All of these are possible values for x if x is less than 3. All right, on to the last one. We're going to draw it like this. We have our less than symbol, and then we're going to draw a line underneath. And this means that x is less than or equal to 3. All right. And I'm just going to close the door real quick. Okay, and we're back. Thanks for waiting. And for this one, x is less than or equal to 3. We're going to draw a closed circle at 3. And then everything to the left. These are all the possible numbers that x could be. And some key terms to look out for if it's x is less than or equal to 3. It might say that at most 3. So at most 3, or a maximum of 3. Maximum of 3, or 3 or less, or not more than 3. So all those are the same as this right here. And then last possible values, 3, it can be 3 because it can be less than or equal to 3. Or it can be 2, 0, -9, or -3 3/4. Those are all possible values for what x could be. Last one. Okay. Once you have all this, I want you then to finish page 4, finish these problems, and then if you have time, move on to the problems on page 5. Okay. And with that, I wish you good luck.